So I got a frantic voice note from Mark this morning. It was basically more or less in tears of like agony and stress. He was like, Zulf, I did it. I made my first £60 from the side hustle we talked about. I was so proud. I was like, you know what, he's doing all right, man. And then I opened the mail. My water rates have gone up and my electricity standing charges just jumped up again. That £60 is gone forever before I even touched it. What's the point? I'm just working to pay the utility companies. Mark, this is the moment. This is the triggering moment. Most people quit. They see the invisible pay cut and they think they failed. But today, I'm going to show you why this is actually the final piece of evidence we need to prove that staying an employee is the riskiest thing you can do. In this episode, we're tackling the invisible pay cut, the moment when the rising living costs outdo your salary and the struggle and all that intense stuff you did to make that money. We're looking at how to stop being a victim of bills and start being the one who sets the price. So I was looking at some details. I remember back, I think it was 2016. In 2016, I was feeling quite comfortable. I had like 9 to 5, but I was doing part-time at the same time. I had like a little routine. I thought I had my budget sorted. Then within 1 week, 3 things happened. The car insurance doubled. I didn't have any crashes. I had no claims proof. I don't know why it went up. The council tax went up. And the broadband contract ended. It jumped from like $19.99 to $45.99. It's like, wham, three bits of just, it's life, isn't it? I sat there with my spreadsheet. I'm quite a nerd like that. I've got like a spreadsheet with all the data on, and realized that even though my salary hadn't changed, I had effectively been made, like, I've been given a pay cut. Given like, say, let's use a number. So say £1,200 a year pay cut just to cover that. I didn't even work to make, does that make sense to you? It makes you feel powerless. But I realized that as an employee, I was at the bottom of the food chain. Everyone else, the energy companies, the government, like the insurers, they could raise their prices, but I couldn't raise my income as quickly. And I couldn't raise what I was charging my employer for how many hours I was doing. I was the only one in the chain with like a fixed price. You're getting this regardless of anything. So 3% versus the 10%. Let me give you like an example of this director's maths. So in 18 years of moving from employee to director, I've learned the director's math type thing. So when you're an employee, you wait 12 months, you maybe get like a 3% pay rise. You might get a bit of stocks and shares and stuff depending on the company. But inflation and utilities often move at 5%, 8% or even 10%. So you're losing the race by design. When you work for yourself, you have price elasticity. In my if my web hosting costs go up on my office electricity spikes, I don't just absorb it and suffer. I look at my service rates, I adjust my margins, and I find a more efficient way to work as a director. You are like you're a price maker. You have to be fair, but you can't sell something if it brings you a loss. So not a price taker, but like you're setting it fairly. I had to look at some of the data to see how reasonable is this. So the utility and the banking and all this costing is kind of going up. So let's look at the proof of evidence and give some figures to Mark just to help him calm down. So according to Ofwat, water and sewage bills in England and Wales are projected to rise significantly over the next few years to fund infrastructure. If your income is fixed, this is like a direct hit to your survival. In the past, you'd have a water meter or you'll have just a standard bill you'll pay for like a year's worth of water usage. The water companies a lot now, Severn Trent in particular, are putting water meters on lots of houses because they want to be able to increase the price based on how much water you use. So there's quite a lot going on back there. Furthermore, the Office of National Statistics tracks the Consumer Price Index, known as a CPI, which shows that essential inflation, like food and energy, often outpaces the headline inflation. This means like things you must buy are getting expensive faster than your boss is willing to pay you. So if you're feeling a bit like tight, it's because things are getting more expensive. You're not making enough money and they're not giving you an increase quick enough. Effectively, they're paying us less. Consumer Price Inflation UK is like another report that you can source and look at some data. So headline, I'll quickly skim through these. But how can you inflation-proof your life? Is there a way? Mark, here's how to fight back against the invisible pay cut. Let me see if I can give you 3 ideas to think about this. Track the real overhead. So stop looking at the bills as like personal and start looking at them as a business overhead. If you work from home, a proportion of the water, electric and business use, broadband expenses, things, is that something you can reconsider how you look at them? When you set your rates for your tasks and services that you've done before, you've already made like your first service structure. Don't just charge the market rate. Charge the market rate plus 10%. That 10% is your inflation shield. If it's there to cover your surprise in the mail, if that makes sense. So we know it's going to happen. We just need to cover for it before it happens. You're like, okay, you know, I knew something is coming. Just picture in your mind that things are going to get more expensive. Audit your leaking contracts. Use a money helper tool. There's a checklist thing. Money helpers help with bills tool. It's just a quick way of doing it. You can do it in a spreadsheet, but you might need to do a bit of fiddling. I'll send you a link. Well, show notes. So the tool checks if you are the best social tariffs or if you can switch providers. Is it worth thinking about like an offer for 2 years that gives you like a lower price? Every £10 you save on a bill is like £10 of profit. You don't have to earn it. It's an extra profit. Obviously, if you're working for yourself, it's different. If you're in a company, it's different, but you're like sole trader at the moment. So then that would work out for you. I told Mark, I was like, you know what? The £60 you earned, it didn't disappear. It paid for that bill that your 9 to 5 salary wouldn't cover. If you hadn't made that £60, what would you have been doing now? So without that extra income, you'd be £60 in debt, right? You'd probably use a credit card and pay or something. So you didn't lose, you survived. Think of it carefully. I told him, look at this service and his service. He's doing some basic data entry for like a local firm. I told him to tell them that due to increased overheads, his rate is going up by £2 an hour next month. He was terrified, mate. He was like, what? Asking for money is a very difficult thing. But you know what? A lot of business people know things get expensive. When he said it and he managed to get there, they were like, you know, okay, that makes sense. We're surprised it took you this long. So a lot of the times you need to ask. People are expecting it. I sat on Etsy, and over the years, we started off with like 99 pence for service that I offered, one of the things. And slowly, as things got expensive, I had to make it $2.99 because I can't absorb the cost. If it costs me more to make, I'm sorry, it's going to cost you more to buy. But they understood it because their bills are going up too. It's not just you, remember, everyone's feeling it. We know things are getting more expensive. Mark just gave himself a raise that his boss never would have. Stop being the person in the economy who isn't allowed to raise their prices. The invisible pay cut is only invisible if you aren't looking at the data. I'll put some of the links of these projections and the reports, inflation trackers in the show notes, zulftalks.com, S for season, S19, number 19. So it gets you straight to like the season 19 show notes. Go there and have a look at the numbers yourself. In the next episode, we're working and going to talk about the rotting at home epidemic. I'm like, what? the mental health cost of being broke and bored, and how to turn that right into a sprint. I'm Zulf, and this is the Self-Employment Survival Series. Go be your own boss. I'll see you in the next one. What's one question you're stuck on right now? Contact me on zulftalks.com. You could drop me a message on Insta or email me there. If you want, you could even put your answer below this episode in the comment section. I read through every single one and it helps me shape the shows. So it'll be good to hear from you. It would be really good if you can leave a review wherever you're listening to this. The show resources are available at zulftalks.com. You can also sign up to the mailing list there, which will allow you to get information to help you on your journey working for yourself.
Working for yourself, I know you love it. Working for yourself, 'cause I love it too. Working for yourself, Zulf talks about it, making it easy for you. Working for yourself, go be your own boss. Working for yourself, Zulf will help you along. Working for yourself, powered by trusted creators, zulftalks.com.